Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here, and you are very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, because legend Frank Oz, who's a puppeteer who worked with the great late Jim Henson on the Muppets, he kind of voiced Yoda. He did voice Yoda. He's the puppeteer involved with that and a lot of the stuff on Star Wars. So the man's a legend. And he says it's not down to a filmmaker. It's not a filmmaker's responsibility to pander to fan expectations. He's on Twitter a lot, and he was having a heated debate about Yoda in The Last Jedi. And he said, I think I should know Yoda more than you should, talking to the fan. Of course he knows Yoda, but so do the fans. But the point is, Frank, you work for Lucasfilm. You want to keep your job, so you're going to pander and say, oh, I loved The Last Jedi. It was a great film. Because, Frank, if you're truly a Star Wars fan, because anyone who's a Star Wars fan must at least admit that that film was underwhelming. Forget the other stuff. Forget the ideology, the SJW stuff in it. Forget all that. Let's talk about The Last Jedi as a film. It was a dull non-event. And when they're all patting each other on the back in the Millennium Falcon without Han Solo, because they'd already killed him off, I was thinking, this is it, isn't it? This is the film. And I felt underwhelmed. So, Frank, it's not a movie maker's responsibility to pander to fans' expectations. Why do you think you're there, Frank? You're working for us. You are our bitch. I'm sorry to say that to you, but I used to work on a deli counter. It was my job to serve fresh meats and cheese and onion barges and all this lovely food, right? And if the food wasn't up to scratch, then I hadn't met my customers' expectations. That's what public service is, my friend. You are in a public service. Now, at the end of the day, Frank, you don't write the scripts. You didn't direct the movie. It's not about you. But you're there on Twitter. Someone was talking to you. You should have been a good representative and been polite and, politely disagreed, right? That was it. And then one of your friends quote tweeted you and said, that's what I call fan slapping. Ha, ha, ha. Like, yeah, fan slapping is a thing now. You're all so clever, right? You need us to stay in a job. The best way to stay in a job and for your films to make money, because don't think you can give us any old crap and Star Wars is going to keep on making money, because we saw this, didn't we? With Solo, A Star Wars Story. We saw that you're not bulletproof, but still you attack the fans. We are the customers. We have the power, not you with your little blue ticks and your ideologies and force feeding us your politics all the time, right? Now, I mostly agree with Frank's politics. I'm on the left side of the argument as well. That's not the point. The point is, don't be rude. Don't be disrespectful, Frank. At the end of the day, it is a movie maker's responsibility to meet fan expectations. Go and watch Shazam. Go and watch Aquaman and talk about reaching the peak of fan expectations. Go and watch Wonder Woman. Yes, these people know. These people at Warner Brothers understand that they're serving the public, right? If you're a comic book fan, you want to at least see a smidget of what you've read in the comics in the films. No one's dumb enough or stupid enough to expect it to be a copy of the comics, but to see some respectful kind of shout-outs from the comics. That's what people want to see. And with Star Wars, right, we all enjoyed, not all of us, but the main proportion of us enjoyed The Force Awakens. It was a great beginning. JJ asked a lot of questions. Who's this? What's going on there? We were all guessing. It was all very exciting. But then, the leader of Lucasfilm, right? Let's not mention her name, right? Brought this guy in, said, you're writing and directing this, and you can do what you want. Forget about JJ. Don't worry about JJ. You change everything. Even though it's the second part of a trilogy, JJ should never have left the project. He should have made this trilogy. That's when it began messy. Let me get my words out. That's when it began to become messy. But I'm sorry, Frank Oz. There's in life, there's normally no wrong or right, but you are wrong. You are here, not you, but people like Rian Johnson, writers, directors, people making films, especially iconic IPs like Star Wars and comic book characters, right? MCU, DCEU. You need to please the customer to make money. The Last Jedi could have made twice as much as it did. It did okay, but it could have made more money. But oh no, you didn't please your customers, or Rian Johnson didn't, right? Lucasfilm didn't, and you lost a lot of money because you're so obsessed with what's going on at the White House, you can't concentrate on the content and making the best film you possibly can. So, Frank Oz, closing this up, my friend, great respect. You are a legend, but at the end of the day, it is absolutely the filmmaker's responsibility to reach the peak of fan expectations. And any filmmaker who doesn't agree with that, please pack your bags and leave.